The word that I use for it is clean, and if I can be more specific, he doesn't use anything extraneous. I feel like every detail in his sets, in his compositions, is very precise, very on point as far as the story goes.
And the truth is, anybody can do one movie as a production designer, director, DP, or actor and be a genius. You got to do a couple of movies. You have to do a bunch of movies, and you have to consistently be good, or almost consistently be good, I think, in order to really say someone is that good. Dick is basically bulletproof.
This story is about a drought. And what does a drought mean? How do you visualize a drought?
I'll get to him this afternoon if I can. Dick, what are you doing here?
It's nothing, Morty. It's my lunch hour. Thought I'd drop by and see who dropped dead lately.
Yeah? Isn't this something? Middle of a drought and the water commissioner drowns. Only in L.A.
In Roman Polanski's Chinatown, private detective Jake Gittes becomes entangled in a vast conspiracy to hide a monumental land grab in 1930s L.A. A series of murders are committed to cover it up and to hide the hideous secret of one of Los Angeles' most prominent citizens.
There is such a thing as structure, visual structure. It has nothing to do with the cameraman, it has nothing to do with the director, and it has nothing to do with the actors. It has to do with this particular script.
Chinatown has the moral and emotional force that it does because of that composition that Sylbert devised, a set of simple ideas that all convey the inevitability of the tragedy of Chinatown.
All the colors in the picture should look like, in the interiors especially, burnt grass, dead leaves, umbers. All the buildings in the picture should be white. They should be generic, which means Spanish. And the whiteness is heat. You put sunlight on a white building and you get heat. And heat is part of the story.
Something to drink.
What do you
The best scene I can give you as an example is when Evelyn Mulwray and Jake meet at the back of the house. And Roman did something most people wouldn't dare to do. He stuck her in the sunlight. So she was roasted. I mean, the wall behind her was hot.
Anyway, the point is I'm not in business to be loved, but I am in business. And believe me, Mrs. Mulwray, whoever set your husband up set me up.
And then all the buildings should be above the eye line of this person who's looking, because it's much harder to go uphill than down.
I think Chinatown is just the very best location film that was ever created. And it is a recreation of the 30s. But the locations, every selection of every location. And the other thing is that it comes together with the plot and the characterization in an almost perfect way.
I mean, the idea that all the glass doors feel like water and frozen water, and you can't quite, they're obscure. And obscure is a problem in this kind of a movie. Obscure means you can't quite see the truth. And here is a guy in the genre, which is very important, seeking the truth. Somebody's going to pay if he ever finds out the truth.
Hello, Claude. Where'd you get the midget?
And often, in this case, it's him.
You're a very nosy fellow, kitty cat, huh? You know what happens to nosy fellows? Huh? No? Wanna guess?
Shot largely on location, Sylbert managed to find buildings around Los Angeles that fit his special recipe for the movie. Echo Park was one of the locations that remained largely unchanged.
You'll love it.
The interesting part of this is that here we are 30 years later, and it hasn't changed. And it probably 30 years before I saw it, in 1973, it hadn't been changed. It's one of those things about this area, which in a sense is a backwater. There's not enough money to do anything cute.
A couple of streets over is the home of Ida Sessions, a minor player in the scandal who meets an ugly end.
Ida Sessions is a perfect example, but it has in it something that's also in this picture at another point, which is the idea of symmetry. If you look at that house, it's completely balanced. It's really fun to disarm the audience. You see? He's gotten here, and it's all fine. But there in the middle of it is this long, narrow space, which produces immediately, if you do it right, this sense of anxiety. And when he gets to the door and there's the broken glass, and Roman is behind him, which he's done for the entire picture, he finally comes around and it becomes his point of view. Where you see all these things leading up to a dead body.
If I were to pick my most perfect American film, I think it would be Chinatown. The art direction is superb in every way, just the evocation of time. The plot is superb, the acting is superb.
Go home, Jake. I'm doing you a favor. Come on, Jake.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown.
By the mid-70s, the old studio system had completely passed away. The training and the experience of the close-knit colony of artists was gone. Gone, too, were the legions of in-house craftsmen, experts and specialists in everything from greenery and weaponry to wainscoting and carpeting that the studios deployed to build worlds without number.